Hey, it's Lance Reisland of 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland.
Hey, I'm here. What's going on,
buddy?
guys?
Oh, living the dream. How about yourself?
I'm loving it. I'm not going to come in quite as hot as Spencer did when he got here today. It came in hot when I was driving home today. Entrance was hot, so come in a little calm.
Now, Spencito got the spicy garlic parm wings. I got the sweet chili. Are we eyeballing wings today?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to fuel up for the mock draft,
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna go. The sweet chili sounds good. I'm gonna take a look. I didn't look yet, but I'm gonna get I will do a scouting report here next break for sure.
Oh, I like that.
All right.
Scouting report. He scouts football players and wings.
Oh, absolutely.
I just got wings.
What'd you go with? What's your go-to?
Sweet chili. Yeah.
Like,
Actually, no, you know what I've been on recently? There's like a spicy peach flavor that's out there. And I got to tell you, I'm not a big peach guy, although peach crown. Come on, guys. What are we doing here?
I mean, is that like pineapple on pizza?
Coach, do we have to step outside? If you're going to be besmirching wing flavors, you and I are going to have to. I know you're an all-time nice guy, but I will fight over this.
I got you.
All
I don't
right.
know if I want to mess with Coach, though.
I think I could take him.
Coaches are crazy, though.
Yeah, but he's
Come
a
on.
quarterback.
Listen, we've all seen
long time ago.
we've all seen
I've
Lance,
heard they don't like to get hit.
We've
Oh,
all
absolutely. Red
seen
jerseys.
Lance buttoned up and like all nice and on his best behavior. But listen, if he was a football coach for as long as he was a football coach, you know that he's got something.
Yeah, you got to
crazy
leave
in
those
there.
days behind.
There's
though, a
some
little
crazy
bit.
in there.
All right, here's
I've
the
heard
thing.
stories. You've told me
Yeah,
stories
I've got
about your
some-
wife having to calm you down. Like
Oh, yeah,
I've heard some
I've
things.
had some issues.
I've
for
heard
sure.
some things.
Here's the thing. If you and I fight in a telephone booth, I got a chance. If there's any way you
Got to
can
be a
tire
time
me
we
out
need,
by
we need a time limit. We need an immediate time limit.
like if you can go even 5 feet away from me, well, I will exhaust myself getting to you. That's
Play the long game. You're play the long game. All right, I got you. Scouting report.
That's actually half of the threat I have with my kids now. Is it's like, listen, if I have to come get you, it's going to be worse because I'm going to have to walk over there, and I don't want to do that. I'm sitting in this chair for a reason.
I understand that completely.
All right, so we were just talking about, the safe pick at 6 earlier in the show. And so Spencer asked what I think is a fair question. I don't think there's just one safe pick, but I think if we get under the umbrella of safer picks, I think Carnell Tate's there. Do you agree that Carnell is or isn't a safe pick?
Well, I think he's a safe pick. I don't like safe at 6. I've never liked safe at 6. I like guys who make a difference, and I think Carnell Tate can. But when I'm at 6, I'm looking for, with Monken, I'm looking for a weapon. And I'm not looking for a receiver or running back. I'm looking for a guy who can make it easy on the offense, right? A guy who, when he gets it, the other 10 don't have to be perfect. And that's what it's been for, it feels so hard. The offense feels so hard and drudgery when you're watching it. Be nice if somebody can break a play, And when I think of Carnell Tate, it's still an outside receiver who's legit, but you got to have good pass protection. You got to have a little bit of a run game. You got to have a well-thrown ball. If you get a guy who can touch a little bit, those things can go away, right? You can miss a end. You can, the quarterback doesn't have to throw it as far. But in terms of a guy who, that being said, I think Carnell Tate's going to be an outstanding pro. But if I'm at 6 and Jeremiah Love's there, I'm jumping all over it.
So, because we will get to the Jeremiah Love thing. So, if Carnell Tate was Tet McMillan, right? I don't think Tet McMillan's going to be a top 10 receiver. I think he's going to be somewhere between the 11th best receiver and 25th best receiver. I still think that's more valuable than the best running back you have in the NFL. No?
Well, and here's the thing. I think this is a special guy, and I don't think of him as a running back, and I think of him as a touch guy, and everybody's like semantics. I really don't think so in this offense. Now, if it was Kevin Stefanski's structure, we're going to be wide zone, 10 guys have to be, all 11 have to be really good. That's not the case. So if you get a guy in space touching the ball, he can be very good. So though I think he's a running back by name only, this is the guy who can split out. This is a guy I've seen run routes from the slot. This is a guy you can motion out. And when you're talking matchups, this is a guy that can do all that from different spots, and that's what Monken does well.
I think you bring up a good point with like Kevin Stefanski's offense versus Monken's, and what Monken's preached just about like wanting to score points in any way possible. I think that's well said in terms of like not seeing position. So I like where your head's at with that when it comes to somebody like Jeremiah Love.
It's still a running back.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
for instance, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I think he has more impact on winning than a typical running back, even like a dual-purpose running back, a guy that can catch out of the backfield but can't go line up on the line of scrimmage. Yes. Is it still is the most impactful version of Christian McCaffrey more impactful than T. Higgins? And that's more of a question. It's I would say no, but again, I think it's at least a good conversation.
Well, I think that to go off of that, I guess I would just ask, if you're building an offense from scratch, would you rather start it with T. Higgins or would you rather start it with Christian McCaffrey?
I'd rather start it with T. Higgins.
For me, so I don't think of him as Christian McCaffrey. I think of him more as Marshall Faulk, right? And what I mean by that is that a guy
That's
who
good name point,
I think we
Coach.
just
That's exactly what I like.
We used Christian McCaffrey because that's what Andrew Barry said today.
Okay.
In comparing him.
I show him my age a little bit here. Greatest show on turf, right?
I've heard people say Marshall Faulk.
And what I mean by that is he's not just a guy out of the backfield, a guy you put in the slot. This is a guy that can run legit routes. And what I always like, if you're in a structured offense, these kind of guys become gadget guys, right? Because that's not built into a structured offense. Now when you have a guy who is a space guy, now you're talking pace and space. I don't care where I line up. I'm going to find a matchup. And the interview that I liked with Monken is when he said, what are you guys going to do schematically? And he said, I'm going to score more points. And you and I were talking about Monday. That's what I like because that means I'm going to find a matchup. I'm going to do what Monken did to the Browns, right? I'm going to trap them. I'm going to run crunch. I'm going to run things that against this aggressive front. I'm going to make the linebackers cover. I'm going to make the safeties cover. I'm going to stay away from Denzel Ward and Tyson. So I think that's in this offense, for me, that's why I like Jeremiah Love. In their old offense, I don't because it's a traditional dot-the-eye tailback.
Yeah.
This is a touch space guy.
All right, so we talked about this earlier. I'm going to give you three names that I'd said. Because Ben Solak had this big write-up on how the Browns can crush this draft, and he did it for all 32 teams. And I'm going to put definitions on it. I'm going to say Carnell at 6. I'm going to say Caleb Lomu at 24, and then Ihanchor at 39. So I get my starting left tackle, I get my starting future right tackle, and I get an immediate plug-and-play top 2 receiver. That, to me, is crushing the draft. We'll just do the first 3 picks. You can put names on it, or you can go kind of positional outlook. What does crushing the draft look like for the Cleveland Browns?
Well, first, with pick 6, I am figuring out a way to get a guy who's a weapon. So for me, that would be Love, right? I like Tate, though. I mean, I do. I think Carnell Tate's solid there.
I think I like him more.
But I want the ceiling. I don't want floor. I think a guy who can change the game.
Real quick, I was going to say, I know early on in this process you were on the Caleb Downs thing. Are you at a point right now where, like, if both those guys are available, you would take Love over Downs?
No, I would take Caleb Downs.
You would take Caleb
Absolutely.
Downs over Love?
Absolutely.
So
I like when I think of guys who change the narrative of a football game, I don't look at my roster.
Okay.
And I'm looking for guys who, when I watch film, and once again, when people go, you don't understand roster construction, that's all true. I just know when I watch the film, and when I watch the film, I want the guy who's the best player. And the last 2 years, I've watched more film than I probably should admit. Caleb Downs is the best football player I've ever watched. So I'm stacking talent.
All right.
So,
but
but
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Your dream.
It doesn't seem like he's really sorry at all. It seems like he did that with intent. Yeah.
We've known each other a while, right? So it's all right. So I would take. So if Love is there, I'm taking Love at. Let's go this. Let's go. I'm taking Downs. If we're going what I want, I'm taking Downs at 6. I'm taking Mekhi Lemon, who's my number 1 space guy, at 24, and at 39, I'm taking Ihanchor because I think he's a super talent.
So it's funny. We've had a few conversations on him, and I get the new to football thing, and I also get, like Brian Baldinger put it perfectly, like you can look at 20 plays.
He's awesome.
And 15 of them are going to be, oh, my God, this is your guy, and the 5 are what scare you. And I actually had somebody who pretty good with the offensive line tell me when he texted me about Ihanchor, or Ihanchor. I'm going to say it right. You started throwing me off.
It's Ihanchor?
Ihanchor, yeah.
It's not Ihanchor?
Ihanchor.
Ihanchor, okay. I got to get that right. I've been wrong.
I've
said his name wrong 4,000 times. All right.
No, JP has become the grammar Nazi of NFL names, and so he's
Maybe we should ask Max
way.
since he knows everything there is to know about every college football player.
All right. No, we're landing the plane on this. But I do think the way he described it to me, this ball knower that I was texting with, that with Ihanchor, you could get 3 months in and, oh my God, he's ready now and he's a star. You could also get 3 months in and go, oh, he might not start this year, he might not start next year. And I like basically high upside, incredibly low floor. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, if I have one, the film I watch on him, there's the definite wow, right? His ability, and for me, offensive line play. First of all, when I do offensive line, I never try to step over my bounds because that's a unique position, and I always kind of rely on guys who have done it. And so Ihanchor to me is a guy, he's light. He's a big guy, but he plays light. So, but there
are said the same about me.
But there's some lower body functional strength issues. So guys, so guys who are
upper body strength issues too, mid body.
So when you talk about a guy who's when they say that, that's a great way to say it, because 15, it's about right. You watch 15 plays, you're like, this is a guy. And then there's 5 where he'll go against a guy who goes from speed to power, and he gets bull rushed. And then there's time where he's not stepping with the correct foot. And those are all, but for me, all the things he messes up are functional, and those can be fixed. He's a superior athlete who's light on his feet.
On the subject of the tackles, I know we asked Brian Baldinger about this earlier, but how difficult, Lance, is it for a guy who's played primarily right tackle, or even if it was left tackle making the switch to the other side, to make that jump? Because it seems like Andrew Berry and the Browns give off a sense that doesn't bother them. They just see a tackle as a tackle. But we also know there's examples of guys, especially here in Cleveland, that haven't been able to make that switch. So in putting it maybe more in perspective, how difficult is that switch to make for a guy?
Well, I think it's difficult for a guy who's a tackle his whole life. So if you look at a guy who, like a DeJuan Jones, he's 383, he's got to get down. The guys who they're looking for, they're guys like the Iowa tackles that go to Iowa at 6'6", 240, and then they grow into their bodies, and they still have those light feet. Those kind of guys really transition well from right to left tackle or left to right tackle. That's the kind of guy they're looking for. But it's not a perfect science, and guys have struggled with that. I thought DeJuan Jones, with his basketball background, that would be a much better transition. But if you look at him at the right side when he kicks, it's a lot different from the left to right side. Some guys, it's not different. So it depends on what type of guy you like. I always like the guys that have to keep their weight up. I never like guys who have to bring it down, because it's hard for those guys.
I'm right here. Okay, I'm right here. Coach, great stuff, buddy. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.